Welcome to this week's episode of the Digital Advisor Weekly, where today we're going to be talking about the difference between 2003 marketing strategies for financial advisors and the 2024-2025 fiscal season. So we're gonna do 5-week series on each element, what I think are the 5 most important marketing strategies that you can implement into your digital marketing strategy that is guaranteed to produce results. So if you're a financial advisor and you would like these simple tips, join us for this week's episode of the Digital Advisor Weekly.
Welcome to the Digital Advisor Weekly broadcast. Looking to boost your business with the latest trends, innovative tech, and must-have resources? Join us to discover how to successfully scale your practice and automate the process. Here to guide you is your host, the dynamic leader of Advisor Marketing Hub and managing partner at American Financial, Rob Souza.
Well, thank you for joining us. And again, we're tackling this week's topic, digital marketing, 5-part series, the 5 most important elements that you should have in every sales funnel built into your automated marketing system. We try and automate everything so that you can focus on the things that matter, which is building relationships and closing the sales in order to help the most amount of people. And if that's you, then you are in the right place. If you're joining us on any of the platforms that we're live streaming on now, I'd encourage you, if you're a financial advisor or you work for a financial advisor, if you could put the city, the United States city that your financial advisor or the advisor that's watching the stream, put that into the chat just so we know where everybody's coming from. And then, as always, we enjoy interaction and answering your questions. So please, I encourage you to put any questions that you may have in the chat. We will answer them live throughout today's broadcast. And let's jump right in. Okay, here we go. And so this week, there's 5 topics that we're going to go over in the next 5 weeks that are part of what we think is going to be by far it's the same 5 elements that we've had for the last few years, except the difference is how we're going to approach them the next 12 months. That's going to be all the difference, because the way we approach them is significantly different because of the trends in the market. Obviously, digital, AI, artificial intelligence, automation are becoming key roles and elements, allowing you to automate the entire process so that you don't have to become a marketer, but you can still take advantage of the technology so that you can spend more time doing the things that you do best. So week 1, we're going to be talking about content marketing. Week 2, social media marketing, and nice spelling error, and that's my fault. I did some last minute changes. That's supposed to say search engine marketing, and the joy of doing it live, we get to be authentic even with our mistakes. Okay, for week 4, email marketing, and number 5 is going to be paid marketing, or what we call advertising. But we're going to focus mostly on the type of advertising that is digital advertising versus traditional advertising. That's why we're going to call it paid marketing. Week 1, content marketing. And it sounds straightforward. It's really not. We always use this funnel. This is the infrastructure of our automated system that we use at Better Automate and within the Advisor Marketing Hub community. And that is, in order to get 20 to 25 appointments per month, you really need 10,000 leads. How do we get 10,000 leads? Well, the first step of any good marketing funnel is going to be your advertising promotional, which is what we're not going to talk about this week. But we are going to kind of jump into step 2, which is the lead capture. How do we create content that, in fact, is going to attract and retain people that are interested in learning more? So that's kind of the orange lead capture section of our sales funnel. It also can be lead nurture too, because the more people read, watch, or listen to you, the more they're engaged they are, the more interested they are in your solutions. And so it's super important that in step 1 and 2 of a funnel, it's done correctly. And if you've sent out lots of interesting content, because we're talking about content marketing, and you feel like you're not getting a return on that, and that's because you're missing the lead capture element, which we're going to go after today. So lead capture and then nurture. Those two pieces are important foundational elements to get people into down the road. Once you've built a relationship, get them into a sales funnel. Okay. Now, what is content marketing? It's helpful info on the front end in order to build relationships. That's what we call the nurture part. Helpful info on the front end gets people interested in listening and learning. You're giving away free content that is helping solve problems, and there are solutions that they can implement right away without having to do any lead capture whatsoever. Videos like we're doing today, giving away free ideas, helpful hints. Then at some point in time, you can do a call to action for them to request more information. That would be the call to action. And then the building the relationship part, and that's the ongoing marketing. And that's continuing to send out valuable information at which they can read, watch, and listen. Okay. And then don't sell until the back end. If you have not engaged with a prospect 8 times or more, don't sell. You can give away content, you can give away value, solutions, tips, tricks, but make sure there's not an upsell. Even to an appointment, there should not be an upsell until you have offered some level of value at which you can measure 6 to 8 engagements before you start the sales process. That means inviting them to a sales presentation, inviting them to a phone call. You've got to offer value 6 to 8 times. It's why we talk about outbound content marketing, outbound messaging, commenting, building those relationships. If you've offered value 8 times, you're likely to get 2 times more likely to get a yes when inviting them to any sort of upsell or sales presentation. Okay, and then what is content marketing? I've said it already. It's something they can watch, listen, or read. Now, I put read last, and the reason I did that is because that's kind of the old school way of, hey, if I create a good white paper, a good book to download, then people will read it. And that is true with an exception. I'll go over that in just a minute. But right now, the trend really is so that people can to consume content by watching or listening, with by far the statistics showing, based on the trends from Broadridge that put out 2024 marketing trends, is listening. And listening, obviously, podcasts. And again, we'll jump into that here. What does it mean to read, watch, and listen? We'll get reading out of the way because we all know that it's articles, but it's not just a blog article. Because if people can't get to your website, if Google hasn't registered your blog articles, then it doesn't matter that you're posting blog articles. You've got to figure out how to post blog articles. Well, let's say 2 things. One, you got to make sure your blog article is not just informational only. It needs to be your unique perspective, your preferred solution, and it has to be biased, because if it's not biased, they might as well just use ChatGPT to look up the information. Is it worth doing a Roth conversion this year? I could type that into ChatGPT and I could get the answer. I don't need to talk to anybody, schedule an appointment, or read your article, because that is a unique article for a unique particular circumstance. And so you have to go ahead and decide what is your bias going to be, and go all in. A good mentor of mine said, if you're not offending people, then you're not attracting people. If you're trying to please too many people all at the same time, and your content isn't edgy and engaging and strong opinion, then why are they listening to you? And they can just read information on the web. And then, of course, you also can look, and I encourage you to get your articles posted somewhere else. When it comes to search engine marketing, which is something we're going to talk about in a future episode, you want as many posts that you've written that link back to your website in your original blog article. And so there are companies like Brand Featured, and I'm I'm not an affiliate, so this is just a free one for you. For several $100s, you can publish NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox, other Forbes, 100 plus sites that you could get published on. You could go check that out at brandfeatured.com. But you want make sure the articles are just not posted. You also, LinkedIn will take an article. There's Reddit. There's a ton of other places that you can post those articles, but please make sure you syndicate and send out your articles. Otherwise, as much personal info and opinion you put into it won't matter if people can't find it. And the search engines need to see it posted everywhere for it to register in the search engines. Okay. And then of course, post that article on all your social media accounts. I don't care if you don't use Twitter, X, whatever they're calling it these days. If you don't use Reddit or any of the other obscure social media accounts that maybe, yeah, I'm never on them. Doesn't matter. They're backlinks. They're authoritative backlinks, meaning if you're not sure what backlink is, it just means it's a link that links back to your website. So it elevates the visibility of your website by posting it in as many places as you possibly can. And that process can be automated as well. All right, that's enough of articles because that's not my focus today. My focus really is to watch and listen before I jump in, because these are the two final elements that I want to address today. Just going to catch up on comments here. Let's see. And if I can get to them here. There we go. Got it. Okay, so we got people Canada, California, New York, Florida. Again, I'm looking for U.S. cities. If you work for a financial advisor, it's always the U.S. city they're coming from. Another Florida. Again, not looking for where you're watching. I'm looking for where your advisor is working, because this is for U.S.-based financial advisors, life insurance agents. So we're looking kind of for the cities at which we're marketing in. So if you're a VA that's joining us today and you're working for someone, we want that city at which you are serving a financial advisor in the United States. Okay, and writing articles, content. So this is from Sheila. Yep, perfecting the. Yeah. Okay. So this is a good This is a good comment, Sheila. Knowing your target audience is absolutely critical when you're talking about content marketing, because you need to niche down your audience. If you're trying to reach everybody over 50 who has money, you're never going to break through that market. You need to be the big fish in a small pond, unless you already are, and then you can move on. But for most of us, you need to pick a niche market, and then you need to dominate that market. So very good. Know your target audience. Backlinks are critical. Marie, that's correct. Super critical for making sure that your website and social media accounts dominate page one on any sort of search engine. So absolutely. High quality content, that's something that we're going to talk about today. So this is from Anna. Yes, you've got to create high quality content, but you know what? There is AI and technology that can help you do that. Okay, so any question? I'm looking for questions. When writing an article, which is more effective for the audience, a long or short article? Great question, Sheila. And the answer is long. And why? Because they don't just want an article that is informational. They can search that on the web. They want your opinion, perspective, and your persuasion. They want to know why. They want to know why your view is that way. It's important to incorporate a story as an example of your suggested solution. They want insight from a real person. If what you write can be created by AI or replicated by AI, then you did not add enough of your personality into the article, and it's a waste of time. And I'm encouraging you guys to, if you're going to spend the time doing content marketing, do it in a way that's worth your time. Okay, so yes, backlinks again. Houston, Texas, Chicago, Buffalo, Tustin, Los Angeles, Newport Beach. Okay, so good. Now we've checked on all those, we're going to jump back in and talk about the most important pieces of today's live, and that is how to create content that people can watch and listen. Now let's start with watch. It is the easiest Now that's debatable, but watch. There's long videos, short videos, and live videos. Jumping into watch, long versus short videos. So the trend has been short videos, but I'm telling you, the trend is now reversing itself, and here's why. Because the advertisers, when doing short videos, 60 seconds or less, they call them shorts. They started with TikTok, moved their way to Instagram, and then across to other platforms as well. And the reason is because those companies are having a hard time adding commercials to something that is only 30 or 40 seconds long. It's hard to insert advertising into them, so it's making it very difficult for companies to make money on short videos. So they are now considering making shorts longer. So they're considering making them just like Twitter expanded how many characters you could put into a tweet. This is like 5 years ago. Now Instagram and TikTok are considering making shorts as long as 3 or 4 minutes, and considering that a short versus 60 seconds. So keeping that in mind, my feeling is both short and long, combination of the both is the most valuable approach, because if they see your short, they'll want to watch a long, and you should always pair a short with a long video. And what I mean by long video, I try and keep this close to 10 minutes as you possibly can. Live videos, if you're going live, those can be longer because there's engagement. You have to answer questions. And so lives can be long. Now, here is my favorite thing about automation. And we Better Automate is and we have all these automated softwares that we offer to automate the process. You can record a live video and use a software like Descript, and there's a bunch of others, that will automatically create dozens of short videos and a couple long videos from a live video. So you only have to do one of these to create all of these. And that's what AI and automation can do for you. I am going to put a link in the description, or I'll come back and do it in the chat. I'm going to list all of my favorite tools and resources that I use to automate this entire process that we're talking about today. Plus, I'm going to put in all my favorite AI prompts, or Chat GPT or AI. There's different AI and different platforms. And I'm going to put all my favorite prompts in order to create a long video, short video, or even a live video outline and suggested slides. All of that I'm going to put into a document. So look out for that link. It may not be there at the end of the show because I don't think I put it in the show notes, but I am going to add it as soon as I'm finished here and make it available within the hour so that you can request a copy, again, of all of the softwares we use and the AI prompts that we're going to use here in just a moment. Okay, and then finally, podcasts. Now, this is probably the fastest growing part of content marketing for the last 4 years. Why? Because people can listen to it anywhere. They can listen to it in their car. They can listen to it when they're out doing chores, washing dishes. It doesn't matter. People are more available to listen than they are to watch. It's obviously a different format because, like, I'm showing slides here in this particular presentation, so this would not translate well into a good podcast. I would need to be recording it with the mindset that this should be a listening episode and not a watching episode. However, the hybrid is the new trend. And what I mean by hybrid, it's called a video podcast. Remember, when it comes to doing video or audio, many of you are going to say, oh, I don't want to do that. I hate recording. I hate getting on camera. Well, if you're in the sales industry, I'm sorry. I'm empathetic, but too bad. What I mean by that is, you are your brand. If you can't get in front of people, and getting on video is getting in front of people, getting on a microphone is getting in front of people, you cannot avoid it. I don't care if you have to draw a picture, print out a picture of your favorite client and tape it to a chair across from your conference table, and then set up a little phone on a little tripod and just stare at the picture of the client and talk to them. You all sit across the table from people that you are coaching, selling, and solving problems and teaching strategies. So if you can do that, you can do this. You just must change your mindset. And if it helps, just record a sample video with no intention of posting it and then run it through an automated software like Descript, and it'll pick all the best moments and edit it for you. But you have to jump in and start. You'll get better and better and better once you get started. So get started and just record your thoughts. You may not publish the first 6 weeks. That's fine, but you need to start recording video and audio. And the video podcast is a combination of the two, and where it's recorded in video, and then we strip the audio out and syndicate that through the podcast platforms like Apple and Spotify and all the other places that you can get podcasts. But then we also post it on YouTube, the video version. And why do we do that? The biggest challenge with podcasts is searchability. The podcast platforms don't do a very good job of syndicating them to the search engines, and it makes it hard for people to find your show. And what's great about video, when you put it on YouTube, which is by far the most searchable video hosting platform, I get it. If you're on Vimeo, that's good too. But do a search on any platform and you'll see that for every one Vimeo video that's there, there's probably 20 YouTube videos. So if you're going to do it on Vimeo, great. Why not just go ahead and also post it on YouTube? There's nothing wrong with that. Both places are good, twice as likely to be found. Encourage you to do that. But that way, it's going to be searchable, and your show is going to be more discoverable. And then people can switch over to the audio version. People even listen, I do, the audio version where I'll turn on a YouTube video podcast and then put my phone in my pocket and I just listen. Because YouTube was the easiest way to find the podcast than it was trying to go to one of the podcast sites to download the podcast. All right, so before we jump on, final thought on podcasts. Podcasts are best done, not solo. Podcasts are best done as interviews. So that's the difference between a video, a live, and a podcast. I encourage you to find somebody who, especially if you struggle to be comfortable on camera, find somebody who is. It doesn't matter if they don't know your industry. Ask them to be the host and ask you questions so that there's somebody in the room and you feel like it's a natural conversation. So podcasts are an interview format, and just find anybody who's got a great sense of humor or can host and ask questions, and that helps with the process as well. Okay, we're going to finish with how do I set up a podcast? How do I create a topic and outline? And that's really, we're going to use ChatGPT you could use any AI software, but for today, I'm going to use ChatGPT. And this is the prompt that you can screenshot and take here. And again, I will offer all the other prompts that I use. But here I put in, write an outline from an expert financial advisor for a 10-minute video on how to get out of debt for parents who just put their kids through college using my unique software that uses the snowball method. Let's back up to how we did this. One, who is the unique target market? It's parents who've just put their kids through college. What is the problem? The problem is how to get out of debt after I just spent all this money to put my kids through college. And what is my unique solution, my USP, and it's going to be my unique software that uses the snowball method. What is my bias? Well, there's two different types of methods to get out of debt, and I'm choosing to have an opinion about using the snowball method. And then also, I'm using our own unique software. That's what makes my unique service different from everybody else. I could just describe the snowball method, but then that's not unique to me, but the software makes it unique. Always make yourself unique to solve a problem for a unique group of individuals. And obviously, if somebody just put their kids through college, kids as in plural, they spent a lot of time and money. And so, yes, it's almost guaranteed that every student comes out with some level of debt. And so helping parents figure out how they can solve that problem is very unique to that specific group of people. Okay, So, and I already did that one. So we're going to go straight to, I'm going to go ahead, get out of this, and I'm going to go straight to ChatGPT. If I can, there we go, copy this. And I'm just going to show you one run through because we're running out of time as we hit the half hour. Let's do a new chat. By the way, if you're not using premium ChatGPT, I encourage you to do it. Why? Because you can personalize, tell ChatGPT who you are, what your specialties are, what your goal is, the style of writing you want. Once you do that, you also can save prompts. And I'm going to be giving you in a swipe file dozens of prompts that I use on a regular basis. I'm going to go ahead and put this one in. And here I'm going to get an outline for a 10-minute video. I could do this also for podcast. Just swap the word video out for podcast. It's giving me the introduction, and then it's giving me the problem, and it's even giving me how much time to spend on each element. Then it's going over the snowball method, and then it's talking about our unique software, the benefits of this software, and then a call to action. And the call to action in this particular case, okay, so you'd have to also put into the prompt what your particular call to action would be. In fact, I don't think you guys saw any of that. So let me try that again. And we will, here we go. Chrome tab, there we go. All right. Now, as you were staring at a white screen, I was staring at putting that prompt that I showed you on the last slide. And here is where we got, and I'll jump off camera so you can see it a little bit better and enhance it. I want you to see it gave the introduction, then the problem, the method to solve the problem, the software we use, the benefits of using our software, and then call to action with an outro. All of that using one prompt, done in 30 seconds, and you have everything you need to run a video or live or a podcast itself. And instead, when it's podcast, it usually will be questions and answers. Okay, so to finish up our episode today, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can answer any questions when writing an article. Long or short? Yep, I said long. I'm going to keep going down. Okay. How can I repurpose live videos? So I talked about that. There's softwares like Descript, and there's a couple other softwares that you just put in one video and it will create up to 20 additional shorts and long version videos. That's why doing a live and then put into a software like Descript can create all the content you need to promote that video in long, short, and multiple versions, and post them on every social platform and send them out as an email for them to check out one of the videos on one of your platforms. Okay, let's see if there's any other good questions I need to answer. Looking through. Okay, so all right, I think I covered them all, which is good because it's 8:30 right on the dot, and we try and keep this from 8 to 8:30, which we are going to be moving to a new time, which is only a half-hour difference. 8:30, because those on the Pacific Coast are asking me to give them an extra 30 minutes to get settled into work. So we're going to be moving to 8:30, hopefully by next week. So we'll update everybody. And if, again, and I didn't put it on a title slide, but if you want that swipe file, please put it in the comments. Then I will give you every software we use. There's a list of about 18. And then every prompt I use to do podcasting and videos, just either check in the show notes that are being updated in 1 hour or put it in a comment. I will personally send you a link to get that swipe file specifically for you. Hopefully that helps. Join us next week because remember, we're going to cover the other 5 2024, 2025 marketing strategies that are updated, and the approach is different because of algorithm changes for the other 4 elements that we didn't cover today. when it comes to a 2024 digital marketing strategy. Join us next week for the Digital Advisor Weekly. Have a great week.